Hey guys, welcome back to the explosive garden. It's so dry, it's terrible. Actually, last time I checked, we are on 9-10 out of 10 in the drought index here on Samsø, and it's very often so in springtime. And it is so dry, and I'm struggling with the bare soil between my annuals. So the evaporation is like poof, I water and then all the water is gone because it's so dry. But fortunately, the other day my neighbor called and said he had some wool that he had no use for, and I was like, yes, thank you. So I will show you why I think wool is amazing in the annual beds. So what I do is that I have planted already all the annuals, and what I do is that I watered very well this morning, and then I will pack the wool gently around all of these small plants, and this will help evaporation. So the wool is covering my bare soil, and the plants will grow better. Once the wool decomposes, it releases nitrogen and proteins and minerals and all kinds of stuff. But mainly, I think it is helping me with this bare soil problem that I have in these annual beds. And this is one of the reasons why I find it so hard with the annuals. They need a lot of water and it doesn't feel right, and but hopefully this will help. I will also say that my experience is that slugs, well, it's so dry, so the silver lining is we don't have a lot of slugs. So they will not crawl on this, but if you put it down, you have a slug down here and you accidentally put a wool on top, it will thrive because it'll be moist and delicious. So it's not like it cannot survive in the wool, but it feels like it's not really going to move in on the wool if it's not already there. So that's the job I have today. I will cover as much bare soil as I can with the wool from my neighbor, and so when I water again in a couple of days, it's okay. The water really trickles down nicely from the wool, and the moisture will be kept in there. But I also wanted to show you these amazing artichokes. They will be taller than me. And I think, again, this is a perennial, and look how healthy and happy it looks, and I don't need to water, I don't need to do anything. I know it's also a Mediterranean plant, so maybe that's the solution that we are facing. We need to find plants that will tolerate more extremes, and these Mediterraneans are perhaps one of them. But it looks amazing, almost prehistoric, and it brings me joy, and I can't wait to have some for dinner when they are ready. Another example, I know I go on about the same thing, but this bed I think is a wonderful example of how things are thriving much better when there's no bare soil. You can hardly, well, you're pressed to see any soil at all in this bed. And look, even with more than a month of no rain, it looks healthy and happy and powerful. So I think maybe that's partly why I struggle to keep bare soil for my annuals, because I kind of feel like I need to cover the soil with plants as soon as possible. And in the other end of this bed, it's also obvious that there's more bare soil, So the planting is less dense, or the seeding is less dense, and this means that this is a third of the size as the same plants on the other end of this bed. That's just the power of having covered soil altogether. Another example of this is a new bed of hostas that I made some time ago, and in between these new plants that are still establishing themselves, I put a lot of mustard garlic. So this means that this soil is completely covered, and the hostas are still happy, even if the mustard garlic is actually filling in the space between the plants. That's one way to help when you are establishing new beds, I think. Finding ways to cover the soil. I mean, mulch, of course, is also amazing, but I kind of like this, the plants that I can use to cover between the crops that I'm intending to grow in this bed. Another thing I'm finding that is working well for me in the garden is actually growing some of my annuals in half shade. This means that I might not get as much out of each plant as I would if I watered and I had full sun, but this means I will have less work to do, less maintenance. So I actually made a bed in here with lots of different kinds of kale, lots of Swiss chard, some edible chrysanthemum, and other bits and bobs. And this I haven't watered since I planted a couple of weeks ago, so it's still doing okay because it's in half shade, but still getting enough light for me to actually be able to eat from this. Also, when I am working with the half shade like this, I often plant a lot of different kale, because especially the early sprouting broccolis, because they are coming out in spring when this does not have any leaves, so it has full sun, and I can actually take advantage of this space even in the half shade in the summer, and whenever more water is coming in fall and more light as the leaves are falling, these kale early broccolis will start growing. That's what I wanted to show you in this video. I'm struggling with the drought. I hope your place is a better one than this right now. So thanks for watching, and see you later.